the Main Street McNabs with a map and big smiles, running through castles and glittering miles. From Mickey to mountains, we're chasing the dream in a world of enchantments where everything gleams. Oh, we're riding the ride, weaving magic all day. In the Mavs on Main Street, we're leading the parade from morning to evening in this wonderland screen. With laughter and love, it's pure family glee. Popcorn and ice cream, the treats never end in the happiest place with our dearest friends. Fireworks ignite just to light up our eyes. The Main Street McNabs soaring high through the skies.
Hello. The Main Street McNabs are back.
Yes.
It's been a long time, I know.
It has. We took our trip like a month ago.
Yeah.
And we haven't done an update since because since we've gotten back, it's been just crazy around here with festivals, and now I'm trying to transition into my Disney obsession to my Broadway obsession with the Wicked movie coming out. So I've been obsessing over that. So, but we're here to talk about kind of give a what's the word I'm looking for? Summary of our trip, the things that we kind of learned, because we did some new things and not what you're thinking. Traveling with a baby was a little challenging this time. So what do you want to start off with? So let's start off here. Our first night down there, we stayed at All Star Sports.
Correct.
What did you take away from that?
That was my first time ever staying there. I've stayed at All Star Movies a lot, and I've stayed at All Star Music once. I'm not a huge sports person. I love my gymnastics, but I'm not really like into football or anything, so I didn't think I would really care for it. But I will say it was really cool. The way that they have done the decor just outside, to where you're looking like you're walking across a big football field to get to your room, or they've got a basketball court section and tennis section. It's really, really neat the way that they did it. And I thought it was really cool. And Caden really liked it too.
Yeah, I mean, we were only there for one night, and we weren't really at the resort a lot of that time because we got there, and while we were waiting to check in, you and Caden went to swim for a little while.
We did.
I stayed up there and waited to get our room, and from there we left and went to Disney Springs.
We did.
And come back and went to bed, basically. Which, when we went to Disney Springs that night, we got to see the drone show, which is absolutely wonderful.
Our first time seeing that.
Yeah. I love the music part of it. But it was just a really cool show. If you've never seen a drone show in person, it's a unique experience. I had a blast with it, though.
Lots of people, though, so be prepared to be, in a crowd and be close to people, because they want everybody to scoot up and get as close as possible as they...
And get your spot early.
Yes.
Get your spot early. Which they do have a lot of standing area for the drone show, because it kind of goes all the way down the railing right there by the water. So there is a lot of spots, but those spots fill up fast.
Right.
So, and we ate dinner at, what's the name of it?
I wish you would have asked before we started this, because now it's escaping me.
It's a authentic Irish restaurant.
Raglan Road.
Raglan Road, yes. Which was really, really cool.
It is.
The dancers and the singing that go on.
Irish dancing in there. It's loud, so be prepared for a loud atmosphere. But it's cool. We like the entertainment part of our meal too. So food was good.
Yeah.
Good experience.
So after that, we got up on Sunday morning and we went to our new lodge, Animal Kingdom Lodge. And got there, and I didn't know what to think when the guy came out to help unload our vehicle for us.
Some guy was standing out as we were pulling in, and he's like, "What's this guy doing?"
Little did I know he was coming out to help us get our luggage out, because
they don't help you at
they don't help you at the All Star.
Like, you on your own.
So that was an experience. And while I was sitting in the truck with the kids, you went in to check us in, and when you came out, you looked at me and said, "What?
Well, we're in trouble.
Why are we in trouble?
Our bank account's in trouble
Why?"
because it was really, really cool.
And now she doesn't want to stay anywhere
I
else.
was like, it really was the coolest place we have stayed at.
It really
thus
was.
far.
It was mind blowing. If you're used to going to Disney and staying at the value resorts, or even at a moderate, we've stayed at a moderate before. When we walked in to the Animal Kingdom Lodge, it was absolutely mind blowing. The decor, the atmosphere that it puts off, was absolutely wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
The food, the
Oh my
restaurants in
goodness,
there
the food.
was fantastic. The pools, the arcade, the things they have for kids. If it's raining, they have like especially for the younger kids, that little room that y'all went into
It's
with the
called
kids.
Simba's Corner,
Mhm.
and it's almost like a daycare place. Like you walk in,
Yeah.
they've got a Disney movie playing, of course. They've got video games, they've got board games, Legos, a coloring section, a craft section. They've got a craft section that's free, and then they've got things that you can pay for them to do, like to make things out of clay that they
Yeah.
can take home and stuff. It's
Which is
really,
really
really cool.
It's really, really good for rainy days when you're at the resort. And that's what happened with us on our
Yes.
off day. It rained a lot. So we were in the arcade a lot. We were in that room a lot. And we
Mhm.
eventually did get to swim in the pool, which is
Mhm.
an absolutely beautiful pool. It's really, really big, with a slide and all kinds of stuff.
We love the water slide.
Yeah.
And then they have a hot tub there too, of course, that we enjoyed.
Yeah.
And
Of course, the animals.
oh yeah, yeah. It's a zoo as well as a resort. So we did walk around and got to see animals. They've got sections too that have binoculars that you can go. And Caden did that too, where he looked out and saw animals. And then certain areas they've got a cast member station there. So if you have any questions, they're super knowledgeable. We met this one lady who taught us how to say hello in her native language.
I think that was you and Caden.
No, it sounds like buy a donkey.
Sure.
She said you have to say it like you're angry though, like buy a donkey. But anyway,
all right,
it was cool. Because she taught us a lot of things.
One of the really cool things that I loved is when we were like on the second level, and a lot of times it was a little faster for us to take the stairs to come down than the elevator. And the guy there's a guy right at the bottom of the stairs that is from Africa that was using this African chisel, and it doesn't look like a chisel that we would use here. It's almost like a hammer with a chisel end on it, and he was carving these things out of blocks of wood. He was carving animals, you name it. He was carving it, and then they would paint them or put like a lacquer finish on them and sell them in the gift shop. And they are absolutely beautiful.
Very intricate. It's just so detailed and so authentic. You mentioned he was from Africa. That everybody there pretty much is.
Yeah.
And because everything's truly authentic, they want it to be that way and represent the culture appropriately.
Yeah.
And where else can you find such a unique gift like that too?
Yeah.
You know,
it was really, really neat. So we cannot wait to stay there again. However, the next year we're going to be staying at somewhere else to experience that, which I'm sure we will get into in later videos. But we absolutely love this place. We absolutely will be back.
We both said it feels like home.
It does. It really did feel like home. We talked about that when we were leaving, and multiple times since we've been back, we've talked about that. So
Keith loves the coffee that they had there.
The Joffrey's Resort Blend K-Cups.
And now I will say we did try to be as budget friendly as we could. This was our first time staying at a deluxe resort. We did stay at a just parking lot view, which is first of all, Animal Kingdom Lodge is the most budget friendly of the deluxe resorts. And then of course, parking lot view is going to be the cheapest there too. But I would love to go and have a view of the animals like from our balcony
Yeah.
one day.
Which I look at it like this: we
Mhm.
got to experience that. You can go out
Mhm.
and view the animals out back of
Mhm.
the resort. I don't know how much time we would have spent in the room looking
That's
out
true.
the balcony at the animals because we were either walking around the resort and stuff. So I was okay with
That's
the
true.
room that we have. The room was absolutely fantastic.
Gorgeous.
So let's get into a couple things with the parks because this was a learning curve trip for us because we had never traveled with a baby before. Our daughter is 1 year old,
Mhm.
and this was an experience. This was the first time that we have done a Disney trip, and we didn't really get everything checked off of our list because of learning how to do Disney with a 1 year old.
That and the new system too, with
Yes, we
Genie
have,
Plus went away and a different Fast Pass system.
which we have probably an unpopular opinion. We kind of liked the Genie Plus.
I do prefer Genie.
So that's probably going to be an unpopular opinion with other Disney content creators. I've heard a lot of people do enjoy that, and then they just had something else come out. If you're staying at a deluxe resort, you can pay like, what was it, like
Oh, it's hundreds of dollars.
hundreds of dollars, like $400.
That's on the high end. It depends on the
Like,
time of the
yeah.
year, the day, and the park. It varies by park as well.
Where you can just basically walk straight onto the ride
Any of them.
instead of scheduling the ride
Yeah.
with a regular new Fast Pass that you have.
Mhm.
But anyways, we'll talk more about that. Parks, we didn't get to do everything that we wanted to do,
Mhm.
but ultimately the kids had fun. We had
Yeah.
fun, but it was a challenge. It definitely was because we had to do things that we didn't do before, like rider swap,
Mhm.
where
Which does take time.
it's almost like you're not that you're standing in line twice for each ride because the second person gets to go right up there and get on, but that is extra time.
Mhm.
And when you do that 3, 4, 5 times, then you've basically stood in an extra ride line.
Mhm.
So, if you don't know what rider swap is, with us having a 1 year old baby that basically can't ride hardly anything except the stuff that she can ride with us, obviously, like me and my son would go ride, and then when we got off the ride, we would go down and she would give me the baby, and then her and my son would
It
go
worked
ride
out really well for Caden because he got to ride things
twice.
multiple times.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at least we both didn't have to wait in a big line. So
True.
it is a lifesaver. It's a nice thing that they offer. So if you are traveling with a little one, make sure you do rider swap. And you do need to go and talk to the cast member at the front too and let them know that because
Yes, and
they
you
have
need-
different policies at different rides with that.
One of the things that we did learn, unfortunately, we had to learn the hard way, is that everyone in your party needs to be there to talk to the cast member to let
Mhm.
them know rider swap. So because they're going to have to scan a certain person's magic band, and they need to put eyes on all of you so that they know who is who, and
Mhm.
so that was a learning curve as well.
Yes. Another challenge with a toddler was our baby is very active and very curious, and so she wants to just get down and go. And of course, you can't do that with a big crowd of people at Disney.
Right.
So she wasn't a fan of having to either be in the stroller or be held. Those were her options, though.
Right.
So those are the drawbacks, but I do want to hit the positives because there are a lot of positives of taking her with us. And, a lot of people will say, she's not going to remember it. Why take her? First of all, everything that she experiences right now, it does affect her building of her personality, her character. The fun that we had, the time we spent together as a family, laughing, playing, it all adds to her character.
You need to think of it as those are more memories for us,
and they are,
as with spending that time with her.
Mm-hmm.
I will never forget this trip with her.
Never.
Her first time at Disney. No, she's not going to remember it, but we will.
We will. One of our favorite things was eating in Crystal Palace. It's a buffet with the Winnie the Pooh characters, and they come around, and she was so excited. And you could see she's a little nervous at first, and then she would just warm up to them, and it was so cute. And then they will do like a little parade where they're marching around and singing, and she was just clapping along to that. And neither of us will ever forget that. Ever.
Right.
So definitely a plus there.
Yeah.
And I just look forward to seeing how every year she changes with what she's into and what she likes.
Because it will change.
Yes.
The things that she's into every year that we go will definitely change, and that's going to be a pretty cool to see how her personality changes and things like that. So
she loves noses. Where's your nose?
She loves
grab
noses.
people's noses.
Yes.
So she met the characters. She grabbed Mickey's nose. She grabbed Pluto's nose. It's just a cute thing. We got pictures of those things. Let's go around. We did a buzz. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, what you saying that reminded me of. We also did get to do some things that we have never done, like the dance party that we took her to.
Yes, she loved that. She loves music and loves dancing. So in Hollywood Studios, they've got Mickey's Junior Dance Party, and it's like a little club for toddlers.
Yeah, it was really cool to see. I kind of sat in the back. I took the opportunity to sit on a bench in a cold air conditioning room.
He rested.
And rest while I watched them from a distance. So
she danced. Some of the characters come out, and there's like a DJ up there, and they're all dancing, and it's a blast. And that was one of her most favorite things. She also loved the Buzz Lightyear in Magic Kingdom, where she and I were together on that one, and each of us had like a laser gun, and she just felt big. She was just standing there with her little laser gun, and I let her have control of the joystick that controlled the cart and moved it. She acted like she has been doing this her whole life.
Right. Yeah. It was pretty cool to see.
Yes.
So I want to talk about my challenge that I had on this trip real quick.
Me?
Outside of that, you are always a challenge. So, of course, we've talked about it in numerous videos. My favorite thing is Happily Ever After.
Oh, here we go.
So, Sunday, no.
We went on Sunday.
Yes, we went on Sunday because we park hopped. We went from Animal Kingdom over to Magic Kingdom to see Happily Ever After. We got there, and it was the first time ever that I got to see Tink fly. And it was one of the coolest experiences. And I embarrassed myself because while everybody else is watching the fireworks and watching the castle, I'm like looking at the very top because I know where she comes out to see if I see any type of movement at all. And it was a moment where, for some reason, in that second, the fireworks stopped. The music was real low, is at a soft spot right before it gets real big. And I saw her moving up there, and I screamed, and I didn't realize what I was doing while I was doing it. I screamed, "She's gonna fly," but like really loud. And I didn't realize that everyone around me had turned and looked at me.
Oh my gosh!
It was a funny moment afterwards, but I got to see it that night. But we were in a weird position because
I was going to talk about that too.
Yeah, she flew directly over us, and we were off to like the right hand. If you know the logistics of where she comes out and where she flies to, we were kind of off center
on that Star.
Yes.
Whatever restaurant we were over by there. Now there's a lot of different viewing areas you can see where we were. We've never been over there before for the show. Couldn't see the castle very well. What they put on the castle.
Projections. You couldn't see the projections, and you were trees were kind of blocking a part of the castle. You could see the fireworks, obviously. You can just about see those anywhere. But you had a different perspective of the fireworks, and she flew right over us. I was so excited about that, but then I knew I was going to get like 3 more chances this trip to see Happily Ever After. So I was like, this was a great experience off to the side. She flies over us.
Because you will never get a better view of Tinkerbell than what we got right there.
Right.
And I never noticed she blows kisses at people.
Yeah, she blew a kiss at
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
So the next night, which would have been Monday night,
Hmm.
we were at Epcot. No, where were we? Hollywood Studios.
Hollywood.
So it wasn't that night. Tuesday night we go back to Magic Kingdom,
Hmm.
and oh, that night we started to get in position for the fireworks, and it started raining really hard.
So bad.
Yeah,
Like a monsoon.
and if it was just me, I would have stayed there because they will do the fireworks even in rain until it gets too heavy where they just can't. They just call it off. But if I was by myself, I would have stayed to watch it. But I've got an 11-year-old, I've got a 1-year-old, I've got a wife. We went back to the resort. So I was disappointed, kind of let down by that, and I thought, I'll get to see it tomorrow when we go eat dinner at Ohana's, because you can sit and look out the window and see that. So we finally get to Ohana's the next night, sit down for dinner, and where they sat us, we couldn't see out the windows. So I had to listen to the all the music come through the speakers, and I couldn't see the fireworks, couldn't see the cast or anything. So I was like super disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
So Thursday comes along, we go to Epcot, and I didn't want to do this, which I'll talk about that in a minute, why I didn't necessarily want to, but I did. I ended up leaving a little early while they stayed at Epcot because I needed to get over to Magic Kingdom to really get a good view of Happily Ever After. So, and I was scared to death it was going to take me forever to get on the monorail to get over there, and because I had never really done that, like park hopped using the monorail system and everything. So I left really early, and it from Epcot, from the time that I left to the time I was standing in my spot for Happily Ever After, I think was 22 minutes. So it's very quick. It doesn't take long at all to get from one to the other. But I did get in my spot 3 hours early, and I did not move. I stood in one spot for 3 hours. I got some popcorn and a drink and just kind of stood there. And I got the perfect spot. I was not moving, and I got to enjoy Happily Ever After. So.
You know the kids would not have gone for that. So
no, absolutely not. So they stayed at Epcot, enjoyed some of the things Epcot that they were doing over there, and then ended up going back to the resort. So
I think Epcot is our favorite. It's Caden's favorite right now too. Yeah. So we just had a blast.
I hated leaving on Epcot day, but we got down to that was my last opportunity to see Happily Ever After before we left, because we were there Friday, but that was the Halloween party and they weren't doing Happily Ever After. So, which the Halloween party, we got to see the first parade, but then it had rained so much that
which people always say go to the second one, because a lot of people with younger families will go and watch that first parade, that first fireworks show, and then they leave. So there's more room, not as crowded for that second show at 11 p.m. Something just told me, you know what, let's go look at the first parade, just in case something happens and we don't make it for the 11 o'clock one. And I'm glad we did, because it did rain.
It rained so much that even during the first parade, the Headless Horseman didn't come out because there was a chance the horse could slip, because the pavement was very, very slick.
They delayed the show start for a while they were kind of evaluating things, which I love that they are on top of all of that, and safety is the first priority. But we did get to see the show. The second show at 11, they did a little mini parade where they were in vehicles and they just kind of drove by and waved.
Which by that point, I was so ready to go.
At that point, I was not. But, you know.
Well, there's a reason.
We know.
Which we didn't know while we were there. Let me say that. We did not know until we actually got back home.
He just wasn't feeling good.
I wasn't feeling good. That started on Thursday, and I thought it was my allergy. I have really, really bad allergies, and that's what I thought it was. I usually get bronchitis a couple times a year. I know what that feels like, and I thought, here we go. It's that time of year. I'm coming down with bronchitis, blah, blah, blah. Well, it turns out I tested positive for COVID
When he got home.
when I got home, but I was fairly positive. I was positive while I was down there. But like I said, we didn't know. So I went through Thursday and Friday kind of feeling puny. But all in all, it was a great trip. Let's talk about some of the food, because we did experience some new food. I know we did Ohana's again, but like you said, well, you have pretty much eaten at most of the places that we ate at. I experienced new food. The Crystal Palace, which was a buffet, that was okay. That was good.
I tell you what, the Crystal Palace was great for the kids. Caden is really, he loves buffets.
Mm-hmm.
So he loved getting to go up and pick out what he wanted and getting to go up multiple times. Again, it's a character buffet, so both kids loved that.
Yes.
I liked it too. I always do. Keith likes more adventurous food, more specialty food than I do. So it was just okay for him.
Boma's. We ate at Boma's, which was great. I don't want to use the word disappointed, because I was not disappointed. The food was great. I loved it. I was just, I guess in my head I was thinking more exotic African food, and they did have some. Sorry.
Seeing if the baby's waking up or not.
The baby may be starting to wake up, so she may have to get up and run in there. But I did get to experience Boma.
I love Boma.
It was fun.
I tried something with goat cheese there that I have not had before. And I tried some salmon deviled eggs.
Those were good.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was different. And they have Simba waffles.
I had Simba waffles. They have all the Mickey waffles, the Simba waffles, and the oatmeal.
Yes.
The something with the oatmeal was
different. I don't
remember what it was, but it was really good.
Yes, it's a really good buffet. They did have people from Africa that came around playing the drums too. That was really cool. So again, getting that culture in with that was fun.
It was really, really neat.
Yes. So we did breakfast. Obviously, I don't know what they have for dinner, but I think they have more traditional African food for dinner.
Yeah.
Didn't get to eat at the Jaico restaurant.
No, we didn't get to do that. I am looking forward to possibly doing that in the future.
People really rave about that. Excuse me, I'll be back.
I'll let her take care of that. Hey, take your mic off and leave it.
You're welcome for that, people.
Yes. I had to edit one of our last videos because she took it with her, and all you could hear is like the baby screaming while I'm talking. I am looking forward to do that, but I did tell her is that if we stay somewhere that's not at Animal Kingdom Lodge, I don't want to go to Animal Kingdom Lodge to eat at the restaurants when we're not staying there, because I love that resort so much that I didn't want to get a jealous streak in me that we weren't staying there, you know. Absolutely enjoyed that. One of the other things that we missed out on, which I didn't really think that we would, is like at Hollywood Studios when we were there, we missed out on practically all the shows, which is disappointing because we love some of the shows that are there, like the Frozen show, and I know people are gonna say things. The Frozen show is great. I love it. We did get to see Fantasmic.
Hi. Yes. I know. Missing shows. We did a lot of parks, missed some shows. But that's okay. We've got things to look forward to for next time.
Yes. Speaking of food, we did try the viral spring rolls, the cheeseburger spring rolls.
Yes. I've never seen people go so crazy for these things. There was a big line.
There was a big line.
They were sold out. Everybody was mad.
We literally were like the second people in line, and they sold out. So we were getting ready to walk away, and they were like, "Oh no, we're bringing more. It's our last trip in with them for the night." So we sat there for 40, 45 minutes.
I don't think it was that
quite
that long, but probably felt like it to you.
Yeah, it did feel like it, because when you're sitting still waiting with a 1-year-old, it felt like we were there for 3 days. They were good. You know, everybody has been talking about them. and they're only at one little bitty food cart in Magic Kingdom, and you have to know where that food cart is. If you're going and you want to know where that food cart is, because we're not going to tell you on this video, you got to reach out to us or her and find out where that cart is.
This big long line of people were cheering when they came back with the
Yeah,
extra rolls.
they were good. It's a cheeseburger spring roll, and it has. I almost want to compare it to like a Big Mac sauce that you dip it in. They were great.
Mm-hmm.
I think I actually ate them twice.
We did that, and you tried Canada for the first time in Epcot.
Tried Canada. I would like to try that again. Because of what we discussed earlier. I was sick during that.
Did you tell them why you were sick?
Because I had COVID.
No.
Oh, you're talking about before we went to Canada.
Okay, so the Food and Wine Festival is going on while we were there. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know, that's where you get to go around and just kind of course it costs money, but you sample things from different countries. I had a teriyaki sandwich from Japan. That was my most favorite thing that I had. Caden had that too. You and Caden also ate at, was it China?
Maybe.
Caden had noodles from China, I believe.
Yeah, I didn't get anything.
He was really wanting noodles.
It was somewhere else that had the sushi.
Okay.
It might have been Japan.
Okay.
Right outside. My son loves sushi, so he wanted sushi. So we stopped and got sushi. And what was it?
You had eel.
I had eel. And then I got ill. And then we went to go eat at Canada, and I wasn't feeling too good.
No.
But that was the beginning.
The eel was returned to the water.
The toilet water.
Yes.
That might be a little too much information.
Sorry.
What was I going to say? Oh, that was also the morning I woke up and started feeling the effects of COVID. But then eating that did not help at all because I was just kind of the rest of the day. So, but it was a new experience. I am an adventurous eater, so I didn't think twice about eating it. It just didn't sit well with me. So, lesson learned.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta learn the hard lesson.
There's still so many good things we wanted to try though. So next time.
Yeah.
But,
and we didn't get to ride Ratatouille at Epcot this year. Speed Track
Test
Track. Sorry, Test Track is it was closed. It is still closed
for renovations.
They're doing renovations on it and refurbishments on that ride. We rode Frozen.
Baby loves Frozen.
She loved Frozen. That was a cool experience.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing her on that. And then we rode Figment. She loved that.
Yes.
Turtle Talk with Crush. Loved that. I love that. I get made fun of for that too.
She fell asleep during the Nemo ride.
She fell asleep during the Nemo ride.
She also slept through all of the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad at
Hollywood. So disappointing.
Which is like the one thing she can ride
and
there.
That was... You want to talk about that one?
Wow. Oh.
What happened during that is, I forget what the reasoning was.
Somehow we got separated.
We got separated, and I know I had to go to the restroom. Oh, I know what it was. We had a specific time. When we book these rides, they give you an hour. And for whatever reason, we were running behind and literally had like 7 minutes to park the stroller, get up there and scan our magic bands.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I had to go to the restroom, and I'm thinking, I'm going to miss my favorite ride in this park. So I sent them on. I went to the restroom. They went ahead and scanned their magic bands, and I literally scanned mine with like seconds to spare.
Now, they will give you a grace period.
And I was already in that grace period.
Okay.
Yeah, they give you like a 10-minute grace period. So you can scan 10 minutes before your time or 10 minutes up to 10 minutes after, depending on the ride. So I literally scanned with like seconds to go. And they were already up there, and I was frustrated, and they were frustrated. So I ended up having to ride it by myself.
Now, I will say this. the cast members, because we did tell them, like, my husband's back there, they were willing to go pull him out of line and bring him to us, and Keith declined that. So
I did decline that because I wanted to respect the people that were in front of me. I don't have any physical ailments that are not going to allow me to stand in line like everyone else. And, I felt bad for doing that. I was already frustrated, and I didn't want to force that upon anybody else. They were already up there about to get on the ride, and I was probably 10, 15 minutes behind them.
But I'm just saying, I think it was cool that they tried to accommodate.
It was very, very nice of the cast members to be willing to do that. But I know how I would feel if I stood in that long line and saw someone get pulled out and rushed to the front up there. I'd like to think I would be a little understanding, but I'm sure I would look kind of sideways at them and go, what's going on here? So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to put anybody in that position to feel that way. So I know we've kind of jumped around to, but the Toy Story ride. She loved that.
Yes.
Yeah.
She liked to just watch the Slinky roller coaster.
Yes.
Just obviously she can't ride that, but she just loved to stand there and watch it go by. She was so fascinated.
We have a very, very funny story about the Toy Story ride that we will not tell on video. However, if you ask me about it privately, I will tell you about it. Because, do you remember?
No.
When we got off that ride, how I had to run off? Thank you. I think she just told you. We weren't going to tell them, but oh yes, I had an emergency.
That's right.
Yeah, and I just about didn't make it.
So make sure if you are traveling with a toddler that you do have that change of clothes for your toddler and your husband in that diaper bag.
Yeah, because that was scary. I was stuck on that ride, and my stomach was not having it. So, all right. So we've jumped around a lot. This is like a complete. This video is not. I wanted to go part by part, but we kind of jumped around a lot, and that's my fault. So
it's okay.
What else?
I want to say I rode Tron for the first time.
Okay.
And it is really cool. It goes fast. My preference is to do it at night. A little awkward, uncomfortable the way they have you sitting on that, but it's fun, and I liked it a lot. However, I still like Guardians of the Galaxy better. So that's my opinion.
Guardians is still your number one ride?
Guardians is still number one.
Still mine as well. So, which I think we could go through and do our ride list again in a future video, since we've just recently went.
True.
And I'm sitting here brainstorming because it's also, we've literally every single week, multiple times a week, we'll look and say, hey, we got to do our video. And now that we're a month out, we're scrambling to try and rethink about how everything went. And it's just, it's been a crazy life since we've been back. So
I do also, before we close this out, I want to give another tip of traveling with a toddler, and that is invite grandparents. My parents went with us on this trip, and I just want to say a big thank you for all that they did to help us with the kids.
Yes.
On this trip, we had an adjoining room with them, so they were more than happy to step in and help whenever we needed them. Keith is laughing. Go ahead, tell your story.
Which one?
I figured you were going with the temperature of the room.
Listen.
Keith likes it frigidly cold, like Antarctica.
I do like it cold. The Disney rooms, no matter what resort you're staying in, do not get cold enough. They set those at like 68 degrees. And you might think that that's cold. However, in the Florida heat, 68 degrees in Florida in a hotel room with a humidity feels more like 74 degrees. Okay? And I could bump that thing down to 62 degrees and be comfortable. However, there are some people that don't like it as cold as I do. In fact, there are some people that when they get to Florida, they open all the doors and turn the heat on. And then I get the blessing of having a conjoining room with them where they want the center door open. And I go, no. So I had to shut the door and keep the in-laws locked in their room. Very thankful for them for everything that they did. But yes, that was a challenge too, to keep my air in my hotel room.
No, but we had a good trip.
We did. We did. We're always blessed to be able to go on these trips, and glad to. Which we did also share some of our trip with your cousin.
Yes, so thankful for that.
Got to spend the dinner with them on Saturday night, and then also Animal Kingdom.
Yes.
We got to watch Sammy and Mila play together and enjoy a little bit of Disney together.
Yes,
so
and
it's always a fun time. I really enjoy them, both of them.
Yes,
a lot. And
yes, they are awesome, and so glad we got to spend that time and see them because they live in Florida. So I wish we got to see them more often, but I'm glad we get those little opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And I know as the girls get older and doing things together, they'll be friends.
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
Absolutely. Can you think of anything else?
I cannot.
I'm just trying to go step by step. Day by day. Let's talk about real quick before we end this out, because we're at 40 minutes already. This is insane. This is going to take a while to edit. What we did, the Halloween party. Okay, so Halloween party, we did all that. We left Magic Kingdom at like 1 a.m. to go back to the resort. We get back to the resort, and you would think after a full day at the park, being there all day long in the heat, that your kids would be wore out and would like fall asleep on the way to the resort, stay asleep while you get them in bed and get a full night's rest. That's not how it happens, folks.
Not our kids.
Not our kids, because let me tell you, the Disney magic was within them.
Yes.
Because we left there at 1 a.m. We got back to the hotel room. We showered and we laid down about 2:30, and by around it was about 2:30 is when we decided, wasn't it?
About 3-ish.
3-ish. About 3 o'clock, we all looked at each other and went, nobody's sleeping in this hotel room. Let's get in the truck and go home.
We were planning on leaving the next day.
Right.
But obviously we're going to have a good night's sleep first before we left. But
so I pounded a Joffrey's Resort Blend coffee after being up all day, and we loaded up the truck and started our trek home. And I took about an hour nap at a rest stop on the way home, and then drove us on in. So that I would suggest not doing that. That was not the funnest part, especially when you have COVID and you don't feel well and you have a 9-hour drive. But we did it, and we got home safe. My job is driving, so I knew not to take any chances if I was feeling a certain way. So, yeah.
Sammy did great in the car. We were really, really worried about that because she hates her car seat. But we did leave at night. Both going and coming home, we left at night. So she just slept overnight and did great.
Which, with us staying at not a deluxe resort next year, I'm going to be pushing for flying.
We'll see.
Because driving is not fun. And I do it for a living. And I don't want to do it on vacation. So
he doesn't want me to drive. He doesn't trust me. Don't blame him.
The people that really know you that might watch 43 minutes into this video, they understand.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
So, all right. So, anything else?
I don't guess so.
I feel like we're leaving so much out.
I know,
we were there for a week,
too.
and it's hard to talk everything that we did in a week in, a 30, 45-minute video. So,
again, just reach out to me if you are planning or even thinking about doing a trip, whether it's in a few months or whether it's sometime next year, just whatever. I'm here to answer any questions.
Yeah, look, and literally the week we got back, we were already planning next year's trip. So even though that we go every year, we plan for a full year on where we're going to stay, what we're going to eat, things like that. Now, as we get closer, we have more serious talks and start writing stuff down. But we're already in planning mode for next year. So don't think that you're too far out to start planning or get an idea or get a quote or, and one thing that I know we've told some friends of mine that because they're interested in doing it, even if you start talking to her now and you pay your $200 deposit to book your trip or whatever, if at any point between now and the time that you go, there's like a promo that comes up where you can get a discount on resort stays or park tickets or anything like that, she can add that on later on. So don't think that because, well, I want to wait until promos start happening. You can't do that if you book your own trip. Once you book it, you're kind of locked into whatever. Whereas one of the good things about having her do it is she can retroactively go back in and add these promos in as they come out. So
they will always be doing something.
But
sometimes they're better than others with promos, but they're always going to give you something.
But the point is, don't sit around and say, I'm going to wait for the promos to start happening before I try and book a trip, because the longer you wait, the more stressful it is.
Yes.
The harder it is to, if you wait too long, to get certain restaurants, to, things like that. Or rooms start filling up at a resort you wanted to stay at. So it's always good to get a head start. If you pay your $200 deposit or whatever, and then she can take care of all those things for you.
Right. Happy to do it. If I can't be going right now, I'd rather be planning someone else's.
I cannot book your trip. I cannot book your trip. Message her. Call her. Because when you call me and message me, I'm going to send you to her. I will do what
I'm nicer than Keith anyway.
Yes, she is. Trust me, she is. I do have some friends that reach out to me, and I will talk to them on the phone and kind of walk them through. And then me and her will get on speakerphone together and talk to. So if you're more comfortable reaching out to me, do it. It's fine. I kid around with stuff like that, and I realize some people don't understand my sense of humor. But
regardless, we'll get you the answers that you need.
Absolutely.
Get all the information that you need.
My friend Jeremy recently, him and his wife reached out to me, and I ended up on the phone with them for like an hour. We put them on speakerphone, and I was actually talking to them while she was calling her people to get a couple of answers for questions that they had. And I was just kind of going over some of the stuff that, of course, that I know, and kind of easing their stress with the situation, and while she was getting other answers for them. So I don't mind to answer the phone and answer any questions. But when it comes down to it, that's your Disney girl right there.
I love it. It's so much fun.
Yeah. All right. So we promise that we will try not to go a month without making a video. I don't know what we're going to do our next videos about, but there is plenty.
I have ideas.
You have ideas? What are some of your ideas while
we do need to talk about Universal as well, because that is also something that I can book for you.
She can't book Universal trips, but whatever.
Hey,
look, I had a blast at Universal. It's just not Disney. There are more exciting rides, I will say that. But how you were treated, it's not Disney.
Everybody is different.
Everybody's sorry. So, look, my opinions are my own.
Don't yuck on someone else's yum.
I'm not. She can book those trips for you, and she'll be glad to do that. I do have some great things to say about, what's that place called? Universal. I do have some great things to say about Universal. People are usually one or the other, and I'm the other.
I think they know. They see your shirt, honey.
There's probably not a day of the week that goes by that if I'm at home, I'm not wearing a Disney shirt. So
Yeah.
that's my thing. And oh, by the way, in a future video, I'm going to break out my favorite. I got to buy my favorite Disney shirt this past trip. I love it. It's my favorite Disney shirt right now. Would you quit ruining
I'm
things?
curious.
I'm gonna break it out on a later video. It's awesome. If you know my style, you'll completely understand. I love it. So, all right. Anything else?
Don't guess so.
You don't guess so? All right. So until next time.
Have a magical day.